Hi, everybody. It's me, Jessica. What? Oh my gosh. Your health fitness program manager from McLean. There it is. And we are literally just about to get started with our core and stretch class. I recommend having one medium weight today. I brought out a 10. We're going to do a couple rows. We're going to do some chest presses. I think we have a lot pull over. So bring a weight that sounds right for you. And if you need to have a couple, that's fine too. And we're going to start in just a second from standing and we'll make our way down to the mat together. Let me just make sure everything's streaming. Okay, looking good. So keep your mat nearby. Oh my God, keep your mat. Keep your weight nearby. Let's go ahead and get started at the top of our mat. Make sure there's some space in front of you. So I'm just going to take a gentle step back. And let's ground through the soles of your feet. Feet can either be hips width distance apart, or perhaps they're actually side by side touching. And notice if your glutes are shifting towards the back of the room, and take a gentle little tuck of the pelvis. Maybe you open your knees like bookends. I like to bring my thighs together. Lucky me. And then check out if your feet turned at all, heels invisible behind your toes, just press down to the floor. Start to stretch your fingers down towards the floor. So you're decompressing your shoulders and then squeeze them gently together so that your chest is lifted. Take an extra little squeeze of the glutes, pelvis comes forward a little bit more and knit your rib cage back in. Ooh, so much engagement starting off the day. Turn your hands palms forward. On your inhale, bring your arms up over your head. Reach up from your waist, not just your shoulders. So check out if shoulders crept up towards ears and you can relax them down. Stretch those fingers up and then exhale, relax your arms down by your side. Really stretch, stretch, stretch your fingers down towards the floor. Reset yourself. So notice if your glutes started to stretch behind you. Take that gentle little squeeze again. Hips forward, chest lifted, rib cage knit back in towards itself. And just pulling in that rib cage is going to help you find that tuck of your pelvis. Turn your hands palms forward. Once more, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, arms down by your side. Let's just keep going, waking up your shoulders, hands palms forward, inhale up overhead, still squeeze glutes. Exhale, arms down by your side. Make sure you're finding your lift from your waist. One more time, bring arms up overhead on your inhale. Hands, palms face towards each other. Relax your right arm down by your side. Push your hips over to the left and reach your left arm to the right side of the room. Keep pushing your hips. Try not to bend your knees and even draw your left hip forward and then your right hip forward to really open up your chest, to square yourself, to keep yourself in one line. Lift your chin from your chest. Keep your eye gaze forward. And on your inhale, lift yourself back up. Right arm comes back up. Stretch up from the waist, hips forward once again, arms slightly back. Left arm comes down by your side. Find your big lift. Push your hips to the right. Bring your body down to the left. Imagine there's a wall behind your right shoulder. So left shoulder forward. Wait, I'm sorry, left hip forward. Find that wall for your upper back. Chin away from your chest. Push your hips. Reach. And then inhale. Both arms up. Face each other. Again, look up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your glutes. Push your hips forward. Can you gently bring your arms back? Biceps a little bit closer towards your ears. Make sure you're using your inhale and really lifting from your chest. Shoulders are still a little pulled away from your ears. And on your next inhale, lift yourself up. Pull your belly in, and exhale. We're going to rain or swan dive forward. You can bend your knees generously. We're still warming our bodies up. On your inhale, come into a half lift. So find length through the crown of your head, through your spine, hips stretch towards the back of the room. And exhale, belly paints down your thighs in your forward fold. If you can touch the floor, great. It's pretty early, so perhaps you cannot touch the floor. Maybe you grab hold of your opposite elbow right here. Allow your head to hang heavy towards the floor. And remember, you can have that generous bend in your knees. Uh, but to get more of a stretch into your hamstrings, start to shift the weight a little bit more forward to your toes. Draw your belly in. Relax a little. Sway gently with your feet planted from side to side. Feel more stretch in your hips and your hamstrings. Come to some stillness in the center. Let's take our next inhale, come into a half lift again. Find some length. Exhale back down to your forward fold. Weight in your heels, bend your knees. Inhale slowly. Roll yourself all the way up. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, arms relax down by your side. Take a moment in your stillness. Don't move. Restack yourself the best you can. 3 breaths. Repress feet into the floor, squeeze glutes, hips forward, turn your hands, palms forward. Inhale, arms up overhead, pull your belly in. Exhale, rain your fingers down or swan dive down to the floor. Once again, inhale, come up into your half lift. Exhale, back to your forward fold. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Bring your hands to the floor. Step your feet back. Let's take a moment in a plank, just starting to warm up the body. So shifting weight forward, hands, palms right underneath of your shoulders. Can you stack your hips on top? Sorry, heels on top of the balls of your feet. If you need to, just bring your knees down towards the floor. And then if you didn't already have your knees down to the floor, bring them to the floor, send your glutes back towards your heels, open your knees wider if you want, release your head down to the floor, big stretch into your shoulders with some child's pose. Pardon me. Use each exhale to allow your glutes to sink a little bit closer towards your heels. Pardon me, my pants keep falling down. And if your shoulders are feeling really tight really early, then take a generous bend in your elbows. Let's take 2 more breaths here before we'll slink ourselves forward into a quick sphinx, get a big stretch into our lower back. If you bent your arms, start to walk your hands forward, bring your eye gaze forward, and then bring yourself forward on the mat. Forearms come down on the floor, walking your legs back. Can you bring your elbows underneath of your armpits? If it feels like too much, then go ahead, walk your elbows out a little bit wider, maybe bringing them gently forward, but you can still press your hands into the floor, press your lower belly below your belly button onto the mat to feel that big stretch in your lower back. Press the tops of your feet into the floor. Allow your kneecaps to lift. Squeeze your glutes. Press your elbows once more. And bring your eye gaze to neutral, chin neutral to the floor. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And then gently on your exhale, look over your left shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale, look over your right shoulder. Exhale back to center, or inhale back to center, sorry. Lower yourself down to the floor. Ooh, it's early. Words are a vibe. Put your head on your hands. Release your glutes. Bend your knees. Windshield wipe your feet right and left, right and left. The more you allow your feet to drop towards the side, the further up your back you get to. Enjoy the stretch and just allow them to windshield wipe at the pace that works for you. So feel free to take a second. Maybe it's just like a super drizzle, or you're just trying to clear the fog in your body, right? It's not really a rainstorm. Okay, relax your feet back down to the floor. Relax your lower body. Ooh, think about pressing your elbows gently into the mat, a little down and forward. One last stretch into your upper back. And then release that pressure that you're creating. We're going to press ourselves up and we're going to grab weights. Well, one weight. And let's do this quick little strength circuit to start the day. Okay. So you got one weight. We're going to work a slightly longer set today. You can do this first exercise either from kneeling or you can stand up. Kneeling is going to make it a little bit easier because it takes a bit of the balance out of the equation from standing all the way up. So the first move that we're going to do is a single armed row and tricep extension. So it's your option if you stay down on the floor and you take a hinge from right here, row and tricep extension, or if you'd like to stand all the way up. I think you're gonna actually stand up today. Oh my goodness. All right, 50 seconds of work. So 10 seconds more than we usually do, but there's still 20 seconds of rest because you're worth it. Starts in 3, 2, 1. So a slight hinge from the hips, whether you're on the floor uh, or what's it called, standing. Oh my gosh. And you're giving yourself a row into a tricep extension. I'm actually giving myself a row into the row tricep extension. So getting a little extra bit of the back work. But if you want to go straight from row to triceps, you can. And I got my hand on my core. I'm just thinking about keeping it braced and trying not to rotate out towards the side that's actually doing the work. Eye gaze is just in line with the length of your spine. So you don't need to look forward. There's nothing cool forward right now. I mean, you are, but unless you have a mirror in front of you, take a break. You're not going to see it. All right. Next move, that heavier weights come into your chest. If you were in my class last week, we did it then. We're going to press forward and take a little rotation and then come back to center. You can still do this while on your knees. Let's get started. So belly in, chest lifted, press out, twist, twist, bring it right back in. I'm leading with the same arm that's twisting out and the weight's coming out right in line with the chest. Because we're extending from the center line, you got to really pull your core in for that bracing and balance. So you got a lot of chest work happening here. Some shoulders, your back is engaged, your belly is engaged. Yay. Oh my gosh. Take a break. Now we're going to switch to the opposite side. Opposite arm is going to find its row and tricep extension. Nice stretches that feel good for you. All right, we start in 3, 2, belly in and begin. So you're in a hip hinge, whether you're kneeling or standing, and you're just enjoying that big elbow drive for your row and tricep extension. If you want, you could even be getting ooh, a wide row into your narrow row tricep extension. This weight's a little heavy for me to do a single arm wide row. So I'm not going to. While we're working single arm, we're almost there. Really focus on squeezing in the side that's moving, that shoulder blade. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. One more time through with that press out and a twist. This time, opposite hand's going to come towards the top. Oh, so many sounds. All right. Plant your feet, pull your belly in, lift your weight, and begin. You're just moving at the pace that works for you. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Exhaling on the most challenging part, which is most likely pressing this weight out, keeping your chest lifted, and keeping your core pulled in as you find your press. You're doing great, y'all. More than halfway through this total workout today. Yay. All right. Next up, we're going to go for an overhead raise. So both arms are going to raise your weight up over your head and a knee drive. So knee lifts up as weight comes up. Quietly bring foot down. Let's get started. Belly pulled in, arms come up, leg drives up, leg carefully comes down. So I'm going for a straight arm raise, but if that's too much for you, bend at your elbows, press up overhead, and then release down. You might just get a little bit more time under tension while being smart for your body and breaking the move down. We're going to do this twice. The more that you're focused with your eyes on one spot, the easier balance is going to be. And your feet are moving so quietly. Try not to slam your feet down on the floor. So if this is already really challenging, you're going to stick with this same move for our second round. Take a break. Otherwise, we're going to add in a twist. I'm going to flip a light on because the sun is rising. It's getting dark in here. All right, so otherwise, we're going to take an extra moment with that leg lifted and your core pulled in to find some rotation. Woo! And then lift your arm back up. It's going to be hard, but give yourself that challenge. So still, arms come up, knee drive, overhead press, and then while that knee is lifted, rotating to the side, and then right back up, and then foot back down. Well, I'm just going to keep this weight up overhead for a little extra challenge. So mixing it up just a little bit here in round 2, or you're sticking with that original move, which was knee drives, arms come up overhead, foot comes down, weight comes down. So your choice. Come back into that knee drive with rotation. Great work. Oh my gosh, we did it. We're going to come on down to the floor. All right, next up, we're just going to go for a chest press reach, toes up towards the ceiling. On your exhale, reach up towards your toes. Inhale, lower down. Let's get started. Exhale, up and hold. Inhale, slowly coming down. Exhale, up and hold. So you can point your toes. You can flex your toes towards your face. Whichever feels best for you. And you can even bring this bend to your knees. I know For a lot of people, it's hard to get those legs really straight. Whole exhale, I want you to stay lifted off the floor. And then inhale, lower down. And you're reaching right up to the ceiling. Ooh, take a break. All right. Sticking with the similar move for round two. Right, Fred? Fred's being very mean today. We're still going to exhale, reach up with shoulders off of the mat. One leg is going to come down, and then you can lower yourself down. Exhale up, shoulders off the mat. Opposite leg is going to come down, lower yourself down. Let's get started. If your knees are bent, you're still exhaling, lifting. Can you keep your shoulders off the mat as you do a toe tap or a heel tap? Whew. And then lower down, exhale up, heel tap or toe tap. Legs come back in line, lower down. We're moving. This is your interval, everyone. We are almost done because we extended the length of the intervals today. We got just a little bit more than 10 minutes of this core focused work. And I made sure to really include as much of the center line of our bodies and shoulders as I could today. Oh my gosh, great news. That exercise is over. Next up, I do believe we have a glute bridge with a lat pullover. I am correct. So we're still going to use this same weight to press up. We're just going to do one round of it. So feet down on the floor, hips lift up, arms come all the way up overhead. Join me, join me. Arms come back up overhead, and you can release your glutes down towards the floor. Begin, if you have not already, pressing your hips up, arms nice and straight, come all the way up overhead. Weight touches down towards the floor. And then if you want to, you can release your glutes. If you don't want to, you can keep your hips nice and high the whole time. Try to keep your knees in line with your hip bones. So are you pressing your big toe down into the floor? Are you pressing your baby toe down into the floor? Do you feel squeezing your glutes? If you don't, turn your feet out just a little bit. Keep your heels in. One more move to go after this. Just one more move, everybody. Yay. Lower yourself down. Extend your legs out nice and long. Do I have room? Okay. Next up, starting with your arms. Wait, is that what I said? No, I lied. Okay. Bend your knees. Weight right at your chest. Press into your heels. Let's exhale. Lift ourselves up. Bring your arms up overhead. Bring your weight to your chest and slowly lower down. That's the move. Let's do it. So use that exhale. Sit yourself up. Arms come up overhead. Can you make it one smooth motion? So as you sit up, arms press up. Nice long spine. And then inhale, lower down. One last little bit of work into the shoulders. Really press, 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 press your heels into the floor as much as you need to help yourself lift up as you're building that ab strength. 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Next time you come down to the floor, you can put your weight to the side. Yay, and then draw your knees in towards your chest. Make sure your lower back is pressed down to the floor. Is your chin jutting up towards the ceiling? Bring the back of your neck towards the mat. So give yourself a little throat choky sensation here. Double, triple chins. Maybe even open your knees a little bit. Start to get a big stretch into the center line a bit more. Inner thighs. Back of shoulders touching down towards the mat. And then exhale, release your feet down to the floor. Really nice and wide. Mats with distance apart. Oh my gosh. Extend your arms out to the side and just start to gently windshield wipe your legs one more time while keeping them really wide. We're going to find a super wide leg spine twist right here. And bring a little bit more stretching to the lower body because we did get some good stretches in the upper body before. All right, so allow your knees to fall over to one side, really nice and wide. You will most likely feel already a bigger stretch towards the outside of your hip and glute, especially of the leg in the back of whatever direction your knees are pointing. If you want a little bit more, you can lift up one foot and cross it over your thigh. Feels a little much for me this morning, so I'm not going to do that on this side. Let's hang out for a couple more breaths. You can do whatever feels good for your upper body. Maybe arms are by your side for some bracing. Maybe arms are stretched out to the side or in a goalpost for a bit more of a stretch. Last two breaths here. And then go ahead, send your knees back up towards the ceiling. Reaffirm your feet with the mat. Shift your hips to the opposite side and drop your knees in the other direction. Both sides of the body are not the same, so reevaluate once you get over here. Does it feel good to cross your inner foot over your exterior thigh? Well, extra stretch in your hip. And if it does, enjoy it. And if it doesn't, then don't. All right. If you did cross your leg over your thigh, uncross it, and whichever direction your knees are pointing, draw both knees together. So we're stacking the hips and then we're closing the arms like we're closing a book. Take a moment in the recovery position. And then we're going to roll over into tabletop. So as you come into tabletop, spread your fingers really nice and wide, like a starfish, hands, palms underneath of chest, shoulders, hips stacked on top of knees, and give yourself some generous cat cows right here. And after you've had at least one cat and at least one cow, feel free to explore some ulterior movements like shaking your hips, maybe really shifting your hips left and right. If your shoulders are feeling really tired from the movements that we did earlier for the strength portion, think about giving yourself some circles in your shoulders, maybe just shifting one shoulder forward and then the other. Just a couple more breaths, doing whatever your body wants, needs, or feels right for you today. And then come on back into your neutral tabletop. Draw your belly in, spread your fingers wide once again. Tuck your toes under, send your hips up towards the ceiling. Pedal through your heels, get a quick stretch into your calves. Can you bring your biceps by your ears, even if it means generously bending your knees, bringing your lower belly towards your thighs to be as much of a V as possible with a big lift of your glutes, hips. Start to walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands. Once you get there, press some weight into your heels. Inhale into your half lift again. Exhale back down into your forward fold. I would say generously bend your knees, but I ran out of space. So let's just grab hold of our opposite elbow. Ragdoll one more time. While you're here, shake your head. Yes. Slowly. Shake your head. Ooh, go slowly. Really look over each shoulder. And then weight in your heels, roll yourself up. One vertebrae at a time. Stack your head over your heart, over your hips. At the top, inhale your arms up overhead. And then let's cactus our arms. So chest pulls forward, elbows draw back. Turn your thumbs to the back of the room. Ooh, great big stretch for between your shoulders. Look up towards the ceiling. Point behind you with your thumbs, like, hey. All right, stretch your hands back up towards the ceiling. Bring your chin back neutral towards your chest. On your exhale, relax your arms down by your side. Stretch your fingers down towards the floor. Back into mountain pose, back where we started today. Take 3 breaths in your stillness. Awesome. And then shake it off. Shake it out. It's over, everyone. Great work. Oh my gosh. So thrilled to yeah, I'm not alone while working out this morning. Also, I hope that you feel proud of yourself for getting it in, whatever time of day it is that you take out or take in this workout. May that time of day be the time words are functioning better for me. I hope you have a good one. Can't wait to see you live on Friday.